Running an online business is tough,
My biggest struggle, honestly, has been with growth.
but it's even tougher when the business that you started accidentally is completely leaving you behind.
I've Googled myself a little bit.
Today, I'm meeting Nicole Whitworth,
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
also known as your nursing tutor.
I advertise myself as a tutor because that's what nursing students are looking for, but I really see myself more as a nursing school coach.
Who helps nursing students get through nursing school both calmly and comfortably.
I help mostly adult learner nursing students get through nursing school with comfortably passing grades.
Nicole has over 132,000 followers on TikTok.
I've had a great success on TikTok the last going on 3 years.
Unfortunately, with the US's impending ban on TikTok, she's about to lose all of her followers and leads. TikTok is going away. I'm about to give Nicole a no-filter look at her business brand. You want no filter today?
No filter, I can take it. I'm thick-skinned and I just want to pivot.
From her website to her social media to pinpoint exactly what she's doing wrong and how we can fix it. You are so valuable, Nicole, but I think you're undervaluing yourself a lot. I'm Talyn, your diplomat turned personal brand expert. And on the BOSSmother show, I help small business owners go from invisible to high impact with a few major tweaks. Goal is upsell, 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 upsell. Can I find out what the missing pieces are for this nursing tutor? Let's find out. This episode of the BOSSmother show was brought to you by Arian Rose Business Consulting. Listen, if you're a small business owner who's hustling, chasing clients, and tired of being broke, you need my girl Arian because she is going to work on your business plan. And yes, you need a business plan if you want to get access to funding so that you can continue to be a complete badass in your business. You need a business consultant who has this level of experience. She's worked all over the world and now she's here in the United States working with people like you. So if you need a badass business plan, and no one can do business plans like Arian Rose Business Consulting, check her out. Before meeting Nicole, I asked her a few questions to get a sense of her business goals, her bigger visions, and what she's actually struggling with right now. Let's take a look. Her actual business name is Your Nursing Tutor. When I asked her what your business is all about and who you serve, she says, I help adult learner nursing students get comfortably passing grades and learn to think like a nurse while still taking care of their families and living their life during nursing school. So it sounds like she's providing them with kind of like a cheat code on how to get through nursing school and live their life all at the same time. Pretty cool. Then she says, I do this through Study Like a Nurse Tutoring Community, which is a monthly membership that provides training materials, forums, and group tutoring sessions. The number one rule of our community is this: if you're overwhelmed, confused, or stuck, ask me. Okay, there's more. The goals of the membership are to provide a positive, supportive community, tutoring access from an expert, and concrete methods that successfully develop abstract skills nursing students need to get better grades, improve their confidence, and develop into amazing nurses they know they're capable of becoming. That was a big mouthful. I know she's trying to cram in a lot of information, and it sounds like she's very much reliant on building this community, which kind of makes sense for her because she does have such a big community on TikTok. She's trying to get them onto another platform, but my hunch is telling me that she has a product problem, especially if she's not growing. I mean, clearly she has a big community of people, but if she's not growing, and I'm thinking growing her business financially, it's because her products might not be very good, or she only has one or two products and she's not able to graduate them onto something bigger, or once they're in, and then they're out. So that's my hunch. When I asked her, what are your main goals for your business right now? She says growth. That's so funny. I just talked about that. So she said that 2024 was very consistent, but has struggled to grow. Capital letters GROW, grow. The word of the year for 2025 is simplicity. It's not simplicity, girl. You just need a little bit more to offer. And I think the reason why she's struggling to grow is probably because she doesn't have a personal brand. Yes, she has TikTok and she has a big following, but I'm curious to know what she looks like everywhere else outside of these platforms. And the dangers of being stuck on these platforms is at any time they can leave. And then what do you do? And Nicole is in this very unfortunate position where she's about to lose her biggest platform and she's not built her business anywhere else in a more sustainable manner. Nicole says that I'm working on a two-pronged approach for growth. Number one, be consistent on other social media platforms, especially on Instagram and YouTube. So yeah, she's got a lot of content on just TikTok and nowhere else. Number two, create a better member experience with a clear and easy onboarding, plus more on-demand study resources so students get a ton of value, even if they never ask me a tutoring question. Look, your audience will never know what they need. You have to give them that information. It has to be ready for them to consume. They won't know what they need. You have to offer them what they need. That is definitely going to be the problem. I can feel it. When I asked her what's the biggest challenge that she's experiencing in reaching those goals, she says TikTok is going away. Yes, sister, TikTok is going away. It's been her primary source of leads for the last 2 years. It converts even better than her email list. Oh, and wow, she has like 17,000 plus people on her email and between 50 to 60 registrations. So how comes she's not making money in her business? Seriously, that's going to be the thing that I'm going to be asking and prodding Nicole about for sure. Last but not least, I asked Nicole, have you done any work on your personal brand? And she said, yes, I have. Pretty much all of my TikTok videos are talking head style videos where I provide encouragement, study tips, bust nursing school myths. I have tried to cultivate an online persona that is encouraging and supportive, understanding the felt experience of nursing students. My advice often goes against what they are being told by others, including their nursing instructors, but it works. But does she have a personal brand anywhere else? Just because you have content where you are the face of that content doesn't necessarily mean you have a personal brand, because you may not have any strategy at all behind that brand, because those content have come about accidentally. Now, Nicole clearly is doing amazingly well when it comes to content creation in converting these followers into leads, but I want to turn those leads into clients, not just average community clients, but high ticket clients. Let's go meet Nicole Whitworth. Nicole, welcome to the Fairy Boss Mother Show. It's so great to have you here today.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
I cannot wait to learn more about you. And before we jump in, I need to ask who your little friend is behind you.
Yeah, this is my nameless A&P guy. It'd been on my wish list for Amazon for quite a while, and one day when I was like, I'm doing all these videos, I need a talking point behind me. So I thought that goes with nursing tutoring. So I got him. I love him.
I feel like by the end of the show, he's going to have some sort of like name.
Yeah. I would not be disappointed if he did. I feel like it's a missed opportunity that he's named this.
Yeah, he needs to be your avatar or something. So maybe we can have viewers or whoever is watching this come up with a name for that cute little A&P guy for Nicole, because he has no name.
Yeah, I know, but maybe we'll get him a name. He's well loved.
So Nicole, I would love to see what version of my feedback you want. So typically I want to do a vibe check on you, how are you feeling today, and whether you want the full-on fairy boss mother mode. So that's no filter, complete honest truth about your brand.
Oh, I'm good with that.
You want no filter today?
No filter. I can take it. I'm thick-skinned and I just want to pivot and get the feedback from what I can't see from inside my box.
I love that. Nicole has asked for no filter. So I'm going to give you a no filter review of your brand. So before we do that, Nicole, obviously you know yourself in your business. Tell me about your nursing tutor and what you do.
Absolutely. So yournursingtutor.com I've been doing it as a hobby for about 10 years and full-time for the last 5 years. And it's basically I'm a professional nursing tutor, and I help mostly adult learner nursing students get through nursing school with comfortably passing grades so that they can learn to think like a nurse and still live their lives in the process, because there's a lot of toxic messaging around nursing school where you have to say goodbye to fun, say goodbye to friends, and can't work during nursing school and all of these things. And it's still a miserable experience. And it shouldn't be that way for a lot of reasons. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I focus on teaching nursing students how to use strategic study strategies. And I do provide tutoring services. I advertise myself as a tutor because that's what nursing students are looking for. But I really see myself more as a nursing school coach because that's what they need. So I do a lot of mindset work with them too, helping with test anxiety, work with math anxiety because they have to learn to solve dosage calculations and things of that nature. So basically whatever they need. And my premier or my flagship product is my Study Like a Nurse tutoring community, which is a monthly subscription where they get access to a weekly live group tutoring session with me. That's like a small group online setting. They can post questions for me in our forums throughout the week for me to answer. They get my resource library that has my on-demand trainings on my Silver Bullet study system, which is my 4-step method I use to teach them how to study, my Conquered dosage calculations method, my test anxiety method, training on time management in nursing school and things like that. And I can answer questions about that for them in the forums and just guide them through it. And I say my number one rule of my tutoring community is when you are overwhelmed, confused, or stuck, just ask. So that's a relatively new, it's always kind of been that way, but I just like for 2025, I said that's my number one rule that I'm emphasizing with my members just to make it totally clear because it's really easy to struggle with overwhelm when you're in nursing school and you got a lot of else going on in your life as well.
Yeah, and there's like so many layers to that. I mean, I would have never thought about having math anxiety because you have to calculate the dosage, and that could be like life or death, you know? So you've got someone's life in your hands and you are caring for them and you have to be accurate. There's no room for error with any of that.
Mm-hmm. But it's also frustrating to them on the other side of things because honestly, in real nursing practice, you rarely have to actually do the math because the pharmacy does it for you now all the time. But I say you're still responsible for double checking it if you need to, or if you're ever unfortunate enough to be in one of those like a hurricane situation or you know, we've seen some things happen in our country this year that hospitals have been completely like down with power for a few days and in really critical situations, and you can't rely on technology even then, and you have to be able to do it for yourself. And it's such an easy skill to learn, and I make it accessible to them.
It sounds like you've been doing this obviously for quite a long time. You have a really great structure from everything that you've shared in that very short amount of time. What brought you here to the Fairy Boss Mother show, Nicole?
Well, first, my husband told me about you, and he said it was an amazing getting his brand review. But as far as me, my biggest struggle, honestly, has been with growth. Like I've been able to kind of maintain steady with, as you might guess, with a nursing school population, they're very cost conscious and tutoring can be expensive. I do also offer one-on-one tutoring, but my rates are out of necessity a little higher than what a lot of nursing students can afford, which is why I have my Study Like a Nurse tutoring community. But even still, a lot of them, I think the vast majority of students can get all they need from my tutoring community. They don't need one-on-one tutoring, even though they think they do. And so there's a little bit of a challenge up front, educating them before they even become a client that the group tutoring, the community is going to be enough to help them and overcoming some of those mindset issues in my marketing. But so there's that issue, and then overcoming the cost concern in their mind as well. And I think just getting out there more because, like I said, I've stayed steady. I have really great clients. The people that come, that join and they participate, nothing but good things to say. And I've been doing this long enough that I've been able to see some people who joined at the beginning, participate the whole way through, and have graduated and become nurses. And that's amazing. And we stay friends and colleagues after they have become a nurse. This needs to be out there more because there's so many other nursing school resources that are just stressing them out. Honestly, one of the other things I say is that I'm the tutor that tells you to do less. Because everybody else is saying, oh, you've got to do more practice questions. You got to read the textbook more, watch more YouTube videos, do more, more, more. And they don't have time to do that. And it doesn't help, obviously, unless it's the right kind of things that they're doing, just like with growing a business, right? And so I'm still struggling to figure out like what's the right types of things for me to do, I think, and to get my message out there more broadly, because I've had a great success on TikTok the last 3 years. But of course, TikTok looks like it's going away in the US, and I've just kind of dabbled on the other platforms. So I have obviously more plans to get more consistent with Instagram and YouTube in particular was kind of my ideas this year. But yeah, I feel like if I can become more of a household name for nursing schools, that's going to help because I feel like everything else, I've got good bones here. And it's just been kind of stagnant at a good full-time business revenue, but
And
needs to
that's the part
grow.
I'm really interested in, Nicole. It's the you behind the business. What got you to start your nursing tutor? What is your background in this?
It was interesting. It kind of happened by accident, but
Of
I've
course,
always
all great things do.
they do, right? They do. I have always loved teaching, always gravitated towards teaching and tutoring and things like that. But when I was in nursing school, I kind of figured some of these things out for myself. I had always been a good student. I went to nursing school. I failed my first nursing quiz. And that was a big wake-up call for me. I was even in a second degree nursing program. I had my master's degree in clinical psychology. I was like, I got this in the bag. And then I failed my first nursing quiz. And I was like, oh, I've got to do something different to do better. And I started figuring it out. I started doing really well in nursing school. I started helping my classmates, and the instructors noticed, and they invited me to be the peer tutor for our program, which I was like, yeah, great. I'll make a little extra money and do something fun. It's going to help me learn better anyway. And then I remember one day they sent me because the instructors would refer people to tutoring with me. And the instructor sent me a student who was in the class that's the semester ahead of where I was at in school. And I was like, what? Do they actually think I can help somebody in a class I haven't even taken yet?
Yeah, I
And I
can't,
was,
Nicole.
yeah, well, I was kind of nervous. I was like, I can give it a shot. What's the worst going to happen? She's failing anyway, right? And that's when I realized it's about the basic. I didn't have to take her class. I needed to know anatomy and physiology, honestly, which I knew, and she didn't. And so I was able to, it just like really helped me see the experience, put me in a unique position where it helped me to see firsthand the struggles that nursing students were having on the ground. I think because of I was coming like almost straight out of grad school, I thought I was going to be a clinical psychologist. So I had that clinical psychology background too. And I met my husband, we got married, and I decided I didn't want to do the PhD, finish the PhD program. I wanted a more flexible career, which is what brought me to nursing. But I was coming into nursing school with that grad school mindset where you're really very much a colleague with your instructors. Like it's, and I accidentally, I didn't realize it at the time, but I accidentally carried that mindset into nursing school. And I treated my instructors like colleagues, whereas most of my other classmates weren't. But because of that, it was very informative because several of my instructors became like mentors to me, and they responded to kind of like that colleague relationship. And I got kind of an inside peek to what it was like for them in the nursing school as well. And it was not always pleasant. Like there were a lot of toxic things going on. There were a lot of miscommunications. I got to see their challenges firsthand. So I could grow empathy. Obviously, I had empathy for the nursing student because that's what I was dealing with that. But I also got to grow empathy for the instructor side of things and for the challenge they had, and that they really did have a heart for helping these nursing students. And sometimes they just felt stuck and nothing they seemed to be doing worked, and they had their hands tied, and there was only so many hours in the day.
And so you're seeing it from both angles. You're seeing it from the tutor angle, you're seeing it from the student's angle, and then your nursing tutor kind of just like organically just began to put together.
So I graduated and I kept getting phone calls from the students I had been working with as a peer tutor because they had nobody, they had nobody to replace me. And so they had no tutors available. So I started just a little free tutoring group with the students I had already been working with. They would come to my house once or twice a week, and I would continue tutoring them. And then they were
giving. You're just like, come to my house, let me help you.
I do that with so much.
Your house is like this, your online community now. And so you mentioned TikTok being one of the biggest ways that you attract people. Now that's a challenge because TikTok is potentially going away. We don't know what that is, but when you put all of your eggs in one basket and that basket is suddenly taken away from you, you've just lost an entire set of leads, right, for your business. So Nicole, I would love to take a look at your brand and really see what can we do to tweak that so that if and when this goes away, can you rely on other platforms to continue bringing in the leads that you need? Because the work you're doing sounds fantastic. Really,
I love it.
So before I even jump into your website, Nicole, I want to check you out, right? Because without you, none of this is going to work. You are the brains behind the business. You are clearly someone who really cares about their problems and wanting to fix it. So you already have a really great foundation. So before I Google you, number one, have you ever Googled yourself? And then number two, what do you hope I will find? Big sigh.
Yes, I've Googled myself a little bit, but not through an incognito browser. So like, I don't know if that makes a difference. But the thing that disappoints me is that the only stuff that comes up is stuff that I've created, which is good, but nobody else is like necessarily Googling just me. What I really want is I want other people talking about me. I want to Google myself and have like all these other people saying, let me tell you about your nursing tutor and what a great experience it is and how awesome Nicole is and how much she can help nursing students. So, and I haven't really seen that in the past when I Google myself.
Have you made an effort to get that feedback and get people to talk about you, even if it's within your own community, to get them to publish work about all the amazing ways that you've helped them pass and, remove those anxieties and those barriers that they have for their own careers?
I haven't made a great effort. I think I have had a little bit of a mind block about it because I don't know how, to be honest with you. I'm not sure where the best place to be is because of my audience. When I learn like business stuff, a lot of the recommendations I hear, I feel like they're more like B2B, business to business type of recommendations, which don't necessarily work for my market because like my people, they don't want to hear about how I run my business. They want to hear about how I help nursing students. Yeah. And they're not content creators for the most part. Now on TikTok, there are nursing students who are content creators, but now TikTok's going away. And I've thought for a long time about reaching out to them and I never really have. But yeah, I've toyed with affiliate programs and I just found that they didn't really get enough ROI to be worth my time managing. So yeah, and I've struggled with that. So I'm kind of stuck there.
Okay, let me help unstuck you. So I'm gonna incognito mode check you out, Nicole. So bear with me. Let me share my screen. Incognito mode. Let's go. Right. So the first thing I want to do is check out your name. So if I just type in Nicole Whitworth without your business name or anything, what do I find?
I don't see the Google. I see the Instagram page right now.
Oh, it probably won't share incognito mode. Okay. So I will get.
I never thought about that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let me go back to sharing this one. Let me know what you can see. That's your Instagram page.
Yep, I can see that.
Okay, you can see that. Right. Forget incognito mode. We're just going to do
incognito mode.
normal mode. So I'm obviously new to checking you out. So the first great news is your website is coming up #1 on Google, which is amazing. So you completely are owning your name under your business, which is fantastic. And there's Daniel, your husband.
Yes.
#2, LinkedIn. And that's you again, right?
Yeah, it is. And I don't really do anything on LinkedIn. So
that's great. So you're clearly searchable. And then you have all of these other things. So you also have a podcast, right, Nicole?
I do. Yeah, I haven't updated it in over a year, but it still does people do still find me that way.
I have an idea on what you can do with your podcast and bringing in your students and giving you testimonials. So let's put a pin on that. I do have some ideas. So that's the first page of Google. I won't look for the second page, but I'm going to look at your images.
That's something I've never thought to look at.
Okay, so that's clearly you, right?
Yes.
That's you. And then there's other Nicole Whitworths who your competitors when it comes to your own personal brand. So that's you, and then that's it. So it seems like a lot of things are coming from your own website. That's really great because clearly there's some sort of SEO work that you're doing behind the scenes.
By accident.
On your website. Good. That's great. That's great. It's searchable. And then, so can you see that there's some words here on before the images?
Mm-hmm.
These are keywords that are associated to your name.
Okay.
It may or may not be accurate because your name is competing with other individuals who have that same name as you.
Mm-hmm.
So Whitworth University, is that you?
Nope.
Hackett University, is that you?
Nope.
Okay, and then you have Whitworth Teaching Linguistics Phonetics.
Yeah, but there's nothing about nursing.
Nothing about nursing. So that could be one thing that you can amp up a little bit more when it comes to creating content. Using nursing and other words that have nursing in it could be one way to get your name higher up and be associated with nursing outside of just your business name. So it doesn't seem to be a lot of images of you. We've got some YouTube here, but it clearly seems like you don't do any sort of external public relations for yourself and your business.
No, if you mean like going out and talking about my business not to my target audience, I would say that's accurate. And so clearly that's where I'm falling short. Yeah.
That's one area that you can start looking into, getting yourself in other magazines, in other articles. And there's a lot of free things that are out there in the market where you can put yourself out there to say, I want to talk about why it's so difficult for nursing students to even pass. Because you mentioned something very important and you said comfortably passing grades, not just passing grades, but you're saying comfortably.
Not straight A's,
right?
Not just passing, but comfortably passing. So they don't have to feel stressed out, but they're still learning what they need to know.
Right, exactly. So even like putting a magnifying glass into what that actually means could
Mhm.
make a fantastic article for another publication. The
Okay.
other thing that you could also do is, because you have so many TikToks. All right, let's jump into your TikTok. Let's go to Nicole's TikTok. Holy crap,
I'm
Nicole.
shocked at the number of So shocked.
So shocked, and your pictures just disappeared. TikTok is being weird, but you're following 556. Okay, but your followers are 1.3. Here, talk about math not being my number one thing. I can't even remember, right? 132,000 followers. That is
Yeah.
insane, Nicole.
I know.
Congratulations.
It's pretty incredible to me too. Like I can't imagine it, but there it is.
You have 132,000 followers, Nicole, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And I love that for you. But how do you use those followers to your advantage?
So I try to build a sense of community. I try to let them know who I am and just kind of build the brand awareness and to educate them on to be more problem aware and solution aware
But how do
about
you do that, though? Because that sounds like a lot of effort.
it is.
Yeah.
But it's gotten easier with experience and time. So I basically I focus on making videos content and I try to follow a simple framework, hook, value, call to action. And like that's the basic formula that I've used to grow my TikTok and learned what hooks work best to get more views and
You're passively reaching out to them with your videos.
yeah.
I'm not too familiar with TikTok versus Instagram, but have you ever gone through that list of 100? I know that's a big list, 132,000 followers, Nicole. They're not your followers, they're your lead, right?
Yeah.
Right. So they're your leads, they're following you for a reason. Clearly, you're providing them with a ton of value, a ton of content, and not a lot of them may have converted into clients. So that's a missed opportunity right there. But then how do you convert them into clients without creating more passive like videos? Your videos really, you're educating them.
I get you. I have an email list. And so I try to encourage them to go to my, that's cool, but like my link in bio to get one of my freebies. And so that's often one of my call to actions is to go get one of my freebies. I've experimented with ads a little bit. And specifically I was doing a strategy where I'm like, instead of making them sign up for my email list, comment this keyword and I'll DM you. That got out of control. I had over 1,500 requests for it and I had to like throw my hands up in the air and be like, go to my link tree.
Yeah.
And I tried to retarget them with ads a little bit, but TikTok ads are more expensive than like Facebook and Instagram. So I don't like to do them. I don't have as much wiggle room with like experimentation.
Yeah.
And I'm not currently running TikTok ads right now. But I'll be honest, I've always struggled to convert my nursing leads. And part of it, maybe I'm wrong, but I've slowly become convinced that I think part of it is because my audience is just a little bit unique in that they have the internal sense of urgency. Because I know a lot of times with business, they say you've got to create that internal sense of urgency. They have it. They are high anxiety. And usually it's like, I just failed a test or I have a dosage calculation test coming up and I don't know how to do math or like, and all of a sudden they just have that like, okay, now's the time I got to do it. And sometimes I feel like no matter how much I say, hey, you really should do this. You really should do this. You really should prevent problems. There's just some people that are like problem preventers and they're like, yep, I'm going to sign up, but I'm going to wait until the day before nursing school starts. What I tell them. And there's some that are going to be like, I'm going to wait and see if I can do it on my own. And as soon as I fail that first test, then I'm going to go talk to her.
There's usually a timing to all of this, right? When there's exams happening or when students are about to enroll into nursing school or when a semester starts. That is the critical time for you to then get out your videos and saying, hey, that dosage exam is about to come up. Are you prepared for it? If not, take this right now, a week in advance, 5 days. If you're last minute, take it one day before. I guarantee you're going to pass because I have all of these testimonials saying that my course gets you to a comfortably passable grade, right? It's all about timing because Nicole, when they're going to jump in and do these exams because there's a set schedule for this.
It is, and maybe I have a term I use called spaghetti brain. I get spaghetti brain all the time. Everybody knows what it means. My nursing students have it. I get it too. And that's true. There's for sure a rhythm to the year that sort of follows the traditional academic schedule. But one thing I think that is a little bit unique about nursing as well is that there are nursing programs starting literally every single month of the year. Obviously, there's going to be higher start points in the fall and even right now in January, and I can kind of tell from the questions I get what content is sort of trending. Like, oh, a lot of people are doing cardiac units right now and taking their cardiac exam. So they're really stressed out about those kinds of tests. Yeah, that's probably a mindset issue I need to work on and just be like, no, it's not going to catch everybody, but I got to look for those trends and
Like your
adjust
content is
trends.
evergreen, you're right? It's
Oh
evergreen.
yeah.
Content's
Hmm.
you're
Happens the same way every month, every year. Yep.
exactly, exactly. So if it's not right for them now, it's a save for later kind of thing. But you're constantly getting in front of them to say, hey, that test, you can't avoid this forever because this is part of your curriculum. And if you keep waiting, you're going to get more stressed out. There's more pressure on you. You're going to not be your best self. Your self-care is going to go down. This
Yeah.
is where you start to remind them, the problems you have right now, that's going to get 10 times worse before your exams. You're not going to eat anymore because you're so stressed out. You forget to sleep. You're not sleeping because you're cramming all of this information
Yeah.
in it. Why?
Ignoring your kids. Yeah.
Right. You have a life outside of this and you're completely ignoring that life because it's temporary. But then guess what? That cycle continues when the next exam comes and the other one comes up, because that's what being a nurse is. You're constantly going to have urgencies come up. This is a test. Going through nursing school is a test before you get into the real environment. Why are they putting themselves in a position where they're constantly cramming, high anxiety, not eating, not sleeping, not living their life? Because it's a test environment. Guess what? Copy and paste that. That's going to happen in real life. There's emergencies that come up. There's going to be something that happens in your job. And guess what? You're back to that test mode again. So you're basically not only teaching your students to be test ready and pass so that they can actually do this in real life, but you're getting them to be more resilient, not only for their jobs, but also for their actual life. And the one thing that you're really good at doing, Nicole, is problem solution. You clearly know the problem. You have like nailed. People are responding to you. You have the solution, but you're not catching them at the right time. So it's that sort of flow. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's a lot of good tips. I think just figuring out how to pivot and how to identify the right timings of things. I work on it a little bit. Right now, I'm doing a pre-nursing. I've been running a pre-nursing boot camp. I did it last year, 2023, for the first time in December because nothing else really goes on in December, in terms of nursing school with the holidays and things. But people are always looking to January. A lot of people start nursing school in January and it went really well. And so I did that again this December, and then I'm doing a repeat right now in January. And it's like what you said. It's like that would be an example of one place where I am doing it right, maybe, where it's a timing thing, like identifying when there is a big group of people. It still doesn't convert as well as I would like it, as well as I would expect it to do, given the positive feedback people tell me it's kind of like a challenge format, a 4-night challenge format. But this week's not over yet. So it might, a few more people might sign up too. But I guess I still just struggle with like the conversion and like being realistic about what my conversions are, if that makes sense.
I get the feeling that one of the problems that you have, because I've still yet to look at your brand, right? I'm finding that there's a problem with potentially your products and your services. You might be promoting the wrong product. You might not even have a range of products that, fit the high ticket clients and fit low ticket clients. I feel like you have a mid-range product, but you're missing the high ticket clients because you're saying that, these students don't have enough time, but one or two could be a major client for you. And then there's low ticket, capturing literally everyone else who's too busy, too stressed out, but it's a low offer enough for you to grow passively outside of your community. And your community is time intensive. That's a lot of your time, giving a lot of yourself, but you're not getting the money for it, even if it's a subscription base.
The community is actually, I would say, it's very time efficient in terms of so far. But I would honestly say I think you've nailed it. I've wondered about my product offerings because a lot of other people, they focus on NCLEX prep, which is the licensing exam at the end. And I don't really want to do that. I would rather help them.
Because if other people are doing it, let them.
Yeah, but people are willing to pay, more money for NCLEX prep classes. But I'm kind of like, but if you study this way, you won't need an NCLEX prep class.
But if that's what they're looking for, Nicole, that's an entry point for you with the other competitors that you're working against. If you were to create, this is not a one-to-one with Nicole. Nicole will teach you how to prep prep for this exam. It's
Yeah.
more of a case of, if you want to pass this specific exam, join my masterclass. You record it so you don't have to do any of that work, and then sell it for like, I don't know, something cheap like $27. That's like an in for them. And the goal is upsell, 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 and just keep upselling up until they've maximized all of that product. What you want to do is you want your leads to go for the cheapest item.
Okay.
Your community is the area where you get them up to the high ticket. That one-to-one with Nicole, your time, Nicole, not only your time, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, and most importantly, Nicole, that access should be privileged. You should be exclusive but accessible, and you are, because your TikTok following is insane. So you are very accessible, but we need to make you exclusive now, where your time and getting people one-to-one time with you is now a premium product. You don't just give this away to anyone. You're going to give it to somebody who, desperately wants Nicole time. They can see the value, your market value, in hiring you to get them properly ready. Like, imagine, like, they don't want help just with one exam. They want help with everything. They're the kind of learners that need to be, they need to talk things out. They need a little bit of hand holding. They need a human being to interact with. They can't just look at a textbook and going, don't understand this. This makes no sense to me, which is obviously why you're having so much success with your content, because that is exactly where your audience is. They are stuck. They don't learn like this. You're providing them a lot of content, but your time is not protected right now. So definitely is a product problem with you. And I want to raise your value a little bit more. You are so valuable, Nicole, but I think you're undervaluing yourself a lot.
Yes. And that's why I say, even with my membership, like with how much tutoring should cost, I'm like, I don't know. I guess I feel like if I price it any higher, because I charge $97 a month for my community.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's less than one tutoring session with me, because
if by the masses, you're not doing it one-to-one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, but that is, I would say it's double what my competitors do. So I'm kind of like, none of them provide the live group tutoring like I do. None of that. All of their stuff is like pre-recorded materials. Here's all the information you need to know. And that's how I try to position myself differently. But I feel like it's put me at the top of the market, and
people are still coming to you. Let's remember that, right?
The perfect people are coming to me. Like, I'm getting great clients.
I think we need to amplify that volume just a little bit more. Getting access to you one-to-one. So you're doing that group tutoring. Now get one-to-one tutoring with your nursing tutor, Nicole Whitworth. I think that's the one part, because some people will be willing to pay a lot of money just to get access to you and everything that you have to offer, because the way to think about it, Nicole, is you're going to be their cheat code to getting things done faster, more efficiently, and not spending more time going through other courses and going through the textbooks and scamming the library and spending all that time instead of spending time with their kids. You're their cheat code. People pay a lot of money for cheat codes.
They do.
Charge a lot of money for that cheat code and start using that. I'm your cheat code to getting from here to here in no time at all.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and when you start using like languages like that, all of a sudden, so how many people do you have in your community actually, Nicole?
I would say it usually hovers roughly around 100. It's hard to measure because some people are lifetime members, some people are monthlies, dropping on and off. But yeah,
right. Let's say there's you're the math.
They're not all paying $100 a month though. They're
that's fine. That's like 100 bodies. Imagine 100 bodies in your classroom. That's more than like the national average, right? Imagine 1% of that 100 student become your one-to-one mentee. How much more money you can bring into your business. I'm talking about a 1% conversion rate. Let's talk about 0.5% conversion rate. That's like what, 5 people?
Yeah.
I don't know the math. Like
yeah. Well, it would be 1% would be one person. So if we do like a 5%, if we have 100 people that are already
conversion rate.
Yeah, that'd be 5 people. Yeah.
And I'm saying a 1% conversion rate. Yeah. Imagine you're charging anywhere between, let's say, $1,500 to $3,000 for one-to-one tutorial. That's like massive income just came through with one person. But our goal isn't just to get one person, is to get at least 5.
Right.
That whole 100. And you're also replenishing your membership on a monthly basis. There's always a new phase coming in. So they're always getting introduced to all of the other products, services, and benefits that they can get by working with you. So this is always a chance for you to market yourself and use all of the feedback that you're getting internally, Nicole. We need to get that on paper, girl.
Yes.
Paper. Another question would be, how often do you see your community?
I offer a weekly group tutoring session, and I usually have, depends on the week, but anywhere between 5 to 15 people will show up live to the group tutoring session. And it's just like an hour to an hour and a half once a week. And then I respond to forum posts as needed, pretty much every day or two.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump on. So I just Googled your business name. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you have a Google business account set up?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God, do it. It's free. It's 100%
Okay,
free.
I'm writing it down.
Set it up. And then what you want to do, Nicole, you want every single one of your students to leave you a Google review.
Oh, okay.
That is the best way for people to see how amazing you are, how much value they're getting out of your course. It takes 2 seconds to write a review. And you've got 100 people in your community.
And more people that have graduated.
Exactly. So the people that have graduated, there's 2 things that you could do with them. Ask them for a Google review. Most of them will say yes if it's set up and it's on your website. And then the second thing that you can do is, I would love for you to leave me a video review. Just record it. Say, how were you before you started to work with your nursing tutor? And then what was the result of you working with your nursing tutor? Just ask them those 2 questions. Okay. That is a perfect thing for you to promote on Instagram. Then the last thing you could do, Nicole, you have a podcast and you have not revived it in a long time. Now, instead of you talking more about what your product, service is, all the great things you do in your business, we're not doing this for the purposes of your podcast. What would be really great is to get your old students to come back, interview them, ask them, hey, it's been so long to catch up with you on my podcast. Let's find out where you are. And then you can ask them, hey, I remember when you had a really, really hard time with this thing. Can you remind the audience what that is? This is a live testimonial, Nicole.
Can I confess something?
Yes.
I had that on my to-do list last year and I never set it up.
2025 is a new year. This is your opportunity for you to revive it. Because, Nicole, you only need 1 podcast a month, but you have so many students, you might end up having 1 a week. This is testimonial for you. Then this is another way for you to get more leads for the work that you're doing. And when you're promoting your podcast, Nicole, don't just send them to Instagram with a whole link tree, because then it's confusing. All right, so looking at your Instagram account, it's a little bit unloved. You haven't gone on there for a while. You only have 27 posts. Nicole, you have so many TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. You'll become a time management master. You took the words right out of my mouth.
That's right.
Because what you can do, Nicole, is that 556 video, start scheduling it on Instagram. These are contents that are evergreen and they're not time sensitive. Schedule them every single day on Instagram. You've already done the hard work. So now you have more than a year's worth of content ready to add on Instagram. And then your followers, you have 132,000 followers on TikTok. I have to keep saying that number. It's like magic.
It doesn't impress my kids though, so they don't care.
So you do it then. You try doing that yourself. But what you can do is get in touch with them. And I know this is going to take a long time, but maybe your next few videos on TikTok, because it's not down yet, tell them TikTok is shutting down. I'm not going to be here anymore because my country is banning this. I'm going to start my community on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Here is the link. I'm starting it from scratch. Try to encourage them to join Instagram instead.
Okay.
And then just repurpose your content on Instagram. And that means you don't have to do any more new videos for a whole year.
That feels good.
Okay, so you just freed yourself up a whole year's worth of time, which is insane. And then the focus would be revive your podcast, get your old students on there, get people to start reviewing you because you have a shit ton of clients that can review you. And overnight, you can get 100 reviews. And then last but not least, I think you seriously do need to revamp your website because I am not feeling that urgency. I'm not feeling the problem solution coming from your website. I'm barely seeing you on your website. So I'm going through your homepage. Okay, so that's your podcast. That's dead. We need to revive. Yeah. Your website is a little outdated.
Okay, yeah.
And it feels very cold to me. Can I just ask, how often do you update your website? How often do you actively use your websites with your client? And when was the last time you touched this?
To be honest, no, this is really good feedback check because I thought it was warmer and I thought I have updated it. I want to say, I know it was within the last year. I want to say it might even have been within the last 6 months that I updated it, but I don't use my website very much. I honestly feel like it's more of just an online business card. I've gone back and forth, like just like my podcast, I've got a bunch of blogs, but I wasn't seeing a lot of ROI. I felt like it. So I stopped updating the blogs, the blog posts, and just kind of like let that ride on what it's currently doing.
Your blog post, Nicole. So one of the reasons why you're not showing up on Google as much is because you've stopped trying on your website.
Well, can I tell you this? So, like putting all the eggs in one basket,
Yeah.
it was like 2018 or 19, I forget. But I used to get 3 times the traffic to my website that I do now. And then they did what they called like the health or medical update or something. And overnight, my website got hit and it slashed my thing. And I've never felt like I've been really great at SEO. I've never really, and well, not that I'm not good at SEO, but like I never understood how to apply it to my business.
It's tricky, yeah.
Because a lot of nursing students are looking for like, they're not Googling always how to study for nursing school. They're saying like, what's the symptoms of cardiac heart failure? And I can't compete with like NIH for like, what are the symptoms for cardiac heart failure? So I've never really recovered from that. And I haven't figured out how to capitalize on it.
Yeah. And I mean, SEO is a really tricky area, but Nicole, you've nailed those hooks. Those hooks that you have is a blog title. And then your TikTok videos are one blog per video. So imagine repurposing your TikTok videos on your blog. And then you're basically expanding on each of those points in the blog just by this much. I'm not saying write an entire essay. So if you're talking about the symptoms of cardiac arrest, right? I don't know what that is. Like, I'm not a nursing student, but even if I knew someone having cardiac arrest, me as an average person, I have no idea what that means. And imagine if we stumbled across your website, that is helpful information. And that's coming directly from your website because you're using searchable words or phrases like what is cardiac arrest? And then there's an accompanying video with that blog. Guess what? I'm going to watch that video because it's less than a minute long. And again, I need to remind you, 550 plus videos equals 550 plus blogs plus 550 plus repurpose content for Instagram. You've done the work already, girl.
I know.
Pause.
Yeah. And I would say, like, I wanted to tell you that just when you said I could do one podcast per month, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do one every week. Like, honestly, I realized that's been a mind block for me because I used to do them every week. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to find the time to do that. But I'm like, one a month? I could do one a month, especially if it's interview style.
Yeah, interview style is easy because you're having a conversation with someone you already know.
I've even done that before.
Yeah, I know you have. Like,
yeah.
Right? But guess what? One a month is like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Just so that you're replenishing something. Like having a podcast that hasn't been used for a year is a little bit embarrassing. So you don't want a situation. But then guess what? That one a month would easily turn into 2 a month, 3 a month, 4 a month, because so many people are responding and saying, Nicole, it's so great to hear from you. And of course, I'm happy to do this podcast. Because people love you, Nicole.
Yeah.
Use that to your advantage.
And I love them. And it's like, I love talking to them and I love the tips that they can give too. And like sharing their experience is so encouraging to the others that are just one step behind them.
So all of the problems that we fix in this like very short amount of time, Nicole, if all of these problems were fixed right now, what would that do to your life?
It would make my workflow easier. I think it would expand my brand presence more consistently over a larger area. So more people can find out about how I can help in nursing school and have it easier in nursing school experience.
I want to see your face instead of this person here. I want to see a big, like, professional photo of you embodying, I am the nursing tutor.
Yeah.
It's no one else in the world. This is me. It's in your business name. Now people want to know, who is the nursing tutor? Because right now, Nicole, just by looking at your website, okay, it sounds very corporate, welcome to your nursing tutor.
Yeah.
Welcome to your nursing school. Like, overwhelmed how? Like, how are they overwhelmed? There's lots of different ways to be overwhelmed and have anxiety. And then you say, when you know the best way to study, nursing school becomes easy. I'm like, but why is it hard, right?
Yeah. I should treat my homepage more like a sales page. I think.
Yes and no, because
Mhm.
okay, so
Not like necessarily selling them on that page, but to kind of making them feel it.
you want to make them feel it. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And what I usually tell people, Nicole, is, and you're a nurse, so maybe you'd like love or hate this analogy. There's a wound.
Uh-huh.
You want them to feel that, you want to put salt in that wound now.
Right.
You really want them to feel that pain when they
Yeah.
see the homepage of your website going, oh my God, everything Nicole is saying, that's me.
Yeah.
You know, the full attention is on you now with what you have to say without TikTok or anything. Like TikTok, that's a lot of like, I've got to spend a minute listening to you. Your homepage would be boom, salt in the wound. This is what the problem is that I solve as your nursing tutor. Here's how I can help. And here's how I know the pain. And then you talk about your story. Who the hell is Nicole? Because I'm not understanding who Nicole is in any of this.
Yeah.
Okay, you have your podcast, but again, your name is nowhere here. You don't
I
even
think
have
it's gotten
like
lost over the years in the updates.
you got left behind in your business. That's what happened. While you got really busy and popular on TikTok, Nicole, you got left behind with your content.
Mm-hmm.
So now we need to bring you back, salt in the wound. Don't worry about creating more content because you've got shit amount of content. You've got so much. You're overflowing with it. We need to fix how we can bring more money into your business using you as the magnet and then getting other people to talk about you. And you've got plenty of people who can talk about you, Nicole.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
How are you feeling? We're wrapping up now.
Yeah, I'm feeling probably 80% excited and, ready to go, and just 20% nervous. Just with like, okay, I got to sit down for an hour or two and organize and prioritize and be like, what order am I going to do this stuff in? And how can I get my content in a way that I can utilize what I've already done to get more traction?
Look, Nicole, if you're not nervous, that means you're not growing.
That's right.
You have to feel some of that like discomfort to get to the other side. If it's too easy, you're not doing it right.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
So what did you learn from the Fairy Boss Mother today?
Oh gosh, I've learned that my website is not as personable as I thought it was. And I've learned I need to go back to basics on some things and go back to some things I was doing, but simplify them. Like with my podcast, bring back the podcast, do it with the interview style, do it less than I used to do so it feels manageable and fun for me again. And gosh, the Google business account feels like low-hanging fruit. I need to get on that and get those reviews up there, because that's one thing I have heard from people who are thinking about joining, but then they don't. And they're like, well, I'm Googling for reviews. Do you have any reviews? And when you Google, the only reviews that come up are testimonials for my website. And I know how sketch that can sound when I just showed up on your feed, but if they can see them on Google reviews, and if that's what's popping up, I could see how that could immediately give me more credibility and help with probably a lot of conversions that almost happen and then they just don't, and I never find out about them. And then I'd be curious to explore some of these other ways, like just to get my name out there more generally, like you said, like in publications or something like that, so that people can, websites or I don't know, news articles or whatever can do stories about your nursing tutor, so that starts coming up in the feed, in the Google searches, as well as just.
I'm going to reframe it. Your nursing tutor, aka Nicole Whitworth.
Nicole Whitworth. That's right. To get my name in there too.
Got to be together. Because you are the nursing tutor everywhere, like everywhere.
Yeah. What if I want to start another business that's completely unnursing related? Does it matter if my name is connected like with two completely different businesses in that sense?
Not really, because you're a human and you have lots of different interests. Right? One business caters to a very specific audience and the other one will cater for a completely different audience.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's all about your messaging and how you are showing up with that part of your business with your new target audience.
Okay.
You're still being Nicole. That's not
changing.
You're not going to be somebody else in that other business. We just need to bring the right side of you out. And right now, you are fairly invisible on your website. You're invisible online outside of your website. So the fact that you haven't spent a lot of time on your website, but that's all we're seeing on Google.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the focus and attention should be. And then, I mean, we've talked, there's so much, there's a lot of little tweaks that you can do. Do you feel confident enough to work on those tweaks, or do you feel like you need expert guidance to help you with this?
I feel like I'm pretty comfortable getting started and then seeing where I get hung up.
Where do you think that nail is going to be for you?
If anything, it'll probably be if I get to a point where I get overwhelmed and I needed a little more guidance in terms of like like narrowing it down because I get spaghetti brain and that's my biggest thing. So getting kind of the accountability and, you know, sometimes my husband does this part for me. He'll listen to me ramble on, but it's nice to have, you know, sometimes an external voice to be like, cut through the clutter, just focus on your next best step. And this is probably what it is. So getting to that point is when I usually need the most expert help.
Well, hopefully, Nicole, I haven't scared you off with the Fairy Boss Mother mode today.
No,
How
it's
can
been
people find you?
absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at your nursing tutor _ official. So grow that Instagram account. Of course, my website, yournursingtutor.com, which will be changing within the next month and updating. And you'll see my picture on it, if nothing else. And also on YouTube, also at Your Nursing Tutor. So
awesome. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being on the show. I hope you got a lot out of it in this very short amount of time.
yes, I did. It's great. I've been taking notes on my post-it notes over here too. So
I'm surprised everything fit in that small post-it note.
oh no, there's multiple post-it notes. I just peel them off and stick them on.
You know what? I think we need to see. I want to see proof. Send me the receipts. I want to see the.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. And I can't wait to see your evolution soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy Boss Mother Show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.